I never wanted to be a teacher. My mother wanted me to be a teacher because I was such a good Red Cross instructor for swimming when I was younger. But I wanted to be a social worker and then ended up doing a little bit of that and then working for probation. Loved that. But the school district needed a teacher that wouldn't be afraid of violent students coming over from the state hospital. I had a teaching credential and I had a special ed teaching credential, so they put me in HM5 at Vintage High School in 1974, and I have been there ever since. Team HM5 is a classroom. It's a physical room at Vintage High School that was set up to teach life skills to students back when Vintage was built. It has lots of multiple rooms for multiple uses, and that has been my home away from home for all these years, and has been home to many students and teachers and parents for all of these years. So it's a very special place. My classes started out with students with cognitive delays. At that time it was called mental retardation. Since then it's evolved into a lot of different things. They may have social deficits. They need work in just being people more than in reading and writing and arithmetic. We do academics, but I slide the academics in a hidden way. And what I love to do is to look at a student and talk to the parents, and I interview them and find out what kind of little hidden treasures they have that we can bring out. And I don't think of it as teaching, it's more like guiding them or showing them the key or letting them be who they really are. These students are misunderstood. They need somebody to sit down with them and talk to them and find out what is at the core of their heart and soul and mind, and what can I do to help them open that up and let it out. With the memory book, it started out of necessity. I was teaching in a classroom that wasn't mine during summer school, and we had no equipment at all. So we started what we called the memory book, and every day we would have an activity and it would go into a big binder. Then it became much more sophisticated, where the students over the years started actually giving us stories and poems. In the first memory books, it might just be a picture of them doing something good. An act of kindness is very, very important to us. Friendship is important. Responsibility and respect are important. So I always took photos of those. Then the students would tell me about the story, and I would write it down, type it up, and it would go in the memory book. So the students were working on math skills, writing skills, communication, because that was their biggest deficit, mobility, fine motor, gross motor, all of those things to get a photo into the memory book. And we ended up with these wonderful books filled with stories and memories of positive, beautiful things that the students were unbelievably proud of. And I had no idea how proud they were until a new principal walked into the room, and every one of the kids rushed over to the bookcase to get their memory book to show the principal. And by the end of the 4 years, almost all of the students can read the stories. And they have gained voice, not only an external voice, but an inner voice. They have learned skills that they never thought that they had. They can do things that they never thought they could do. And they're wonderful, kind people. My program was always called Sandy's Class, because to my knowledge, there's no other program like it. Part of what makes Sandy's class besides the memory book, is my use of animals in the classroom and my use of the paraprofessionals and parents. We're a real team. We've had cats in the classroom that I have used as much as the memory book. We've had therapy cats. We've had cats to teach kindness, and not just cats. We've had lots of different kinds of animals, but cats seem to have worked out the very best. I went back and got a degree 20 years ago in psychology and child counseling because I wanted to do a better job and wanted to know that the unorthodox things that I was doing as a teacher really had some merit. Since that awakening, I've had much more contact with the students because I started going to their homes and meeting with their families and having dinner with them. My goal by the end of the year was to go to every single family and celebrate something with them. And always at the end of the day, I want to look back and say, I gave this student a key today that they didn't have when they came in. I gave this student a sense of safety. In the last few years, because of the severity of handicaps with the students, I also gave the parents a sense of safety. And that's the most important thing that you can give anybody.